approaches and has a hit. Jack McGlynn! That is an absolute banger to draw this game level.
What's happening? We're here. Game week 21, first round of the playoffs. Got some early birds in here. Love it. Hatlingen. So you're telling me Messi has a full week's rest, has a reason care, and is at home almost every game? I'm in. Yeah. He's gonna be smashing, especially when he had to play 30 some minutes last match. He's gonna be smashing. 2 D1 in season with Messi captain. Yeah, you can't do better than that. Daniel, what's happening? How we doing? And yeah, no Ricky Puig love. That's why I threw him on the. He had a great season. A lot of good seasons. I'm not going to knock like Benteke and things like that. Golden Boot winner. But yeah, he had a great season. So 7 2/3 my MLS cards got missing. Yeah, whenever you have a full 2 years of full Philly collection, it's a sad day. Excuse me. Red or Dead, what's happening? How we doing? Everybody? All right. Hopefully everyone had a good little midweek here. Yeah. So Brose, what's happening? Yeah, let's talk about this. So if I can get it on screen. Okay. Yeah, let's talk about this because obviously there's issues. So if we go to pick scores, and go to I saw Ricky was one of them. And let's just sort it by challengers just to make it a little bit easier on ourselves. Oh yeah, Daniel, you have 1 Philly and 2 Dallas. Yeah, not great. But this stuff kind of drives me nuts. And the amount of DMs I get, not that there's anything wrong with it, but the amount of DMs I get for these questions. Hey, what's up with Ricky? Lucho, why is he not playing? Like, I get these messages, and I am convinced this is sandbagging, that people basically they want to throw a little, okay, hey, you have Ricky Puig, but look, he's not going to play, 57 on the bench. There's something up with that to get people out of playing him in D1 or something. That's the only, for that many people to do it, they're just trying to throw other people off. That's the only possible thing. Ricky, unless he, something happens in warmups, he's playing. It's a playoff game at home. I'm 95% on him. If I would go 100, I would never go 100, but Ricky's playing. Yeah, so you're kind of, yeah. There's some tomfoolery or whatever you want to do. People playing the game, they see, okay, hey, you can throw this guy off, and then herd mentality. Oh, people are picking him for the bench. Let's pick them for the bench as well. So little things like that. And then his pick scores a AA when it, should be a AAA against Colorado's Corpse. Philly Revs in Nashville. Yeah. There's always next year, right? There's always next year. Yeah, just run it back. I'm just going to, even if get him off that 100%. I know that they use, league experts. So I'm assuming the league specialists or whatever outweigh it. That's why he's at a AA, but it's still showing bench. I know we're still time away from it, but the amount of people that sandbag these is a little annoying. Any other guys that we want to look at that are pretty funny? Lewis, how we doing? Okay, people are doing it for European leagues now too. Yeah, it's kind of, that free resource out there. And then you see it on Sorare too. So it's getting plastered over to Sorare. So Vander's crying. I'm crying. Ronan, man. Where do we start? What happened? Phil Neville's pregame chat was a tough watch. Him trying to say why he didn't play Crepeau. And it was he's Canada's number 1, and he was pretty upset. It's yeah. Charlotte, last man standing. Mihalovic. Yeah, Georgie has a sprained ankle. He was, I wouldn't think, if it's scroll, I would think for a little bit. How far do we have to do to get him in here? Is that enough? No. So maybe he's popped out now. He was on the side, but he was also seen with his foot up on a chair, sitting on the side. So I don't think he's going to play. Yeah, there's. I really doubt. Or I could just go to the actual player and not be an idiot. I just figured he'd be on that page. What's he at now? All right, he's 100% out now. Yeah. But I don't think his season's done, depending on where the season goes. A bad sprain could be bad. Like, he was crying and he had to be carted off. Like, I don't know. If they get past this round, maybe, but I just don't see him playing. In-season defensive stacks for Orlando and Charlotte, so they're still live. Nice. But the under-23 Charleroi goalkeeper in season, and he has 0% with no issues to be found. Yeah, it makes you like second guess it as well. Like, at first I was like, oh, it's good to second guess it, but then it's like, I know this guy there's no issues, which can be a little frustrating, just a little. Just keep these questions coming in. I'll talk about a little bit of everything. There are some major matchups. Obviously, we'll get into that kind of thing, where some crazy MLS matchups. So let's do game week info first on the limited side, just to kind of see, is there any overlay? Oh, what do you know? It's La Liga and Bundesliga 1. So 186%. That is the highest we have seen in limited for in-season limited La Liga 1, which, isn't surprising because it's number one every week. But what? We have El Clasico, right? So it should be pretty wide open. Kind of, if you're up there and you don't have those guys, this would be the week, right? Prem up there, 62.5%. That's not bad at all. La Liga 2 even in there at 57%. Again, that's probably a mistake that I should have played week 1. Tried to get a D4 up on the rare side, but, is it too late now to try that? Probably not, but it's just I don't follow La Liga enough to really know anything. Champion in season 1. That could be interesting. Some, I never really prioritized champ, but like, you look at the Bundesliga, there's some really good matchups for some of the teams. I have some Stuttgart boys, but I'm going to probably keep them in Bundesliga, but maybe go to champion and kind of mixing with some other players. I just got a Cherky, which he had 2 primo assist chances today that didn't go down. So I got a 10th in under 23 D1. Had a chance at first if he had a decisive, because I captained him. Wasn't meant to be, but we take our, I think, high-end tier 3 and move on. Everyone's been up in arms about boxes. Obviously, the box changes. I've ripped literally the first level every time, and I've done crazy. I've been very lucky. But like, I don't know. It seemed really easy. Like, I was getting, I only play rare, and I was getting probably 2 of the 20 pulls a week. And the more pulls you get, like I got Cherky, I got Van Dyke, like crazy. And then a bunch of trash in between, but some decent here and there. Under 23, 20%. There's a lot of over 20. So I feel like a lot of lineups aren't in just yet. People waiting, things like that. I know I don't ever put my lineups this early. I started to build a couple today whenever I was, less lineups to do, more free time. I didn't really know what to do with myself. And let's look at the specials at the limited level. So at these specials, top special would be underdog. Excuse me. So what, underdog, is it 45 and under for all 5 players? That's kind of crazy. I don't even know if I have that in my gallery. Just of guys that actually play. That'll be an interesting competition. I used to like the underdogs. They weren't terrible. Used to be under 50 though, so I don't know what's going on with that. We got anti stacks. We have What's the other one? What is the other one? Yeah, they're both safe stars. You just missed it. We were just talking about, I went on a little tangent, as usual, that people are sandbagging those players. They both will play, like, unless one of them breaks a leg in warmups. I mean, knock on everything holy. But yeah, they're going to play. Let's take a look at what we got here. Because I don't really go on the site to see, and I haven't been following the schedule. There's a bunch of what could have been this game week for sure. Like I had Luis Henrique, if I, this everything. Middleset played really well. That's surprised Stuttgart win, but here was the shame, 11th on here now. Come on. So I guess I got opted a little bit, but yeah, Turkey, played well, but 449, can't be mad at that score. But we're looking at next week. Anti-stacks, we knew that. And underdog, is there anything else? Discovered new. Is that it? Do we have an all-star or anything? The Europe El Clasico, whatever it is. Yeah, I'm good on that. All right, don't need to go on that site anymore. First championship midweek of the season, could only play them in All-Star. Morris had 35 AA. That's brutal. I know. I know All-Star is really tough to get like actual cards, but like the amount of boxes that you can get from these special work out pretty well. Just depends what type of, you have there, what kind of type of essence you're kind of mixing there. On the rare side, we'll just briefly, it's pretty much a mirror of limited, but there are some differences every now and then. La Liga up top, 89%, not a guarantee. Bundesliga, 81% D1. This would be a game week. I wish I was up there, but we're in 2. Prem D1, 60%. Champ D1, 45. 30% under 23. These seem really high. Like the other ones seem high. I feel like they'll come down significantly. More cards being played, unless everyone's sold up. Maybe everyone's sold up, and just have less competition here. You'll have to excuse me. Obviously, my voice is still a little wrecked. I don't know if anyone else has had this sickness that's been going around, at least in my area. It's brutal. Knocks you down, that's for sure. I couldn't stream on Tuesday just because I didn't have a voice. So I'm still just trying to battle back with it. Let's look at the special. So underdog, 5.8%. But yeah, you get boxes. And then anti-stacks, is that what they're calling rare? 2.89. Or that's what it's coming over as. Luke Eiling. Biscagli Light. Oh, I like that. Or is it Ailing? Ailing, probably. It's been a minute since they were in the Prem. I just remember seeing him in the Prem with Aronson on that team, I think. All right, so let's get into MLS. Let's see if they have odds for the... Let's see if they have odds for LAFC. They still don't. So, LAFC will be a big favorite, so we have to consider them as well. They're just not showing up just because of the last night's game for some reason. Should show up anytime now soon, but still not showing up. Weird. Top, if you didn't read my article, I kind of posted about this a little bit on RotoWire. Inter Miami, we obviously have a good one. Melissa or Scout, I know you're Atlanta boys, but they had a heck of a performance to go into Montreal and get that victory. Joseph Martinez is playing out of his mind and locked him down. But you get Inter Miami, that's tough. But the last time you two played, it was testy. It was a back and forth end of that match. That was pretty fun to watch. So we'll see what they got in them. They're playing about as good as anyone can right now. So you'd like to say anything can happen, but in this match at home for Inter Miami, whenever they're like all rested, it just seems like a foregone conclusion, but maybe we'll be surprised. I tell you what, I did not see Portland losing 5-0 at home to Vancouver. That's for sure. We're winning the cup, baby. Yeah. Hey, you're still in. Still a chance. Galaxy, that's probably my favorite matchup just because Colorado's kind of a corpse. Whenever they lost Bombito, just, Abubakar's not that good. At halftime, they brought in Reggie Cannon to play a little center back. Like, there was a lot of issues there, that's for sure. With injuries, Cole Bassett has been training, but, like, is he going to start from the top? Kevin Cabral's coming back. He still needs some minutes. Rafa Navarro was seen on the side yesterday. No, like, issue or anything, but he was away from training for some reason. There's a lot of different things going on with this Colorado team. They're in horrible form. Injuries will do that. Zach Steffen was working out with the team. I'm leaning for him to be the starter. But again, they could have Beaudry as a young kid kind of thrown into the fire again. He did start. So yeah, Amador should play. He was full training today. I did see. That's huge for them because, I mean, you wouldn't think a left back signing would be huge, but like Caleb Wiley, what he did, and then as soon as Amador came over, like he's looked really good in all of the starts. Gabe, what's happening? I got a Keel Watts 20 Essence Craft. He's all right. He's all right. Cool thing if you don't follow me, is in my pinned tweet. And I am updating this daily. So let's go to, I haven't gotten through a lot of teams, but let's see. I didn't do Toronto. Which team did I do? You'll see this in the off season. I just revamp everything. Yeah, here we go. So Austin. What I do is I just basically just cut and paste, move it down. We got 2024. You got 2023. So if you want any information from the team, what's going on, as you can see from last year, I did the same kind of thing. Every year I try to like one up something new to it. This year I'm kind of highlighting, this is something, just a small quality of life. I'm highlighting contracts as they happen. So, you can see Wolf got an extension, Heinze Ike as well. And then as people are getting cut, things like that, I go through that. So let's go to St. Louis because they already made their roster moves, which is cool. And I already did that for them as well. So like John Klein, option declined. You can see that all on here. So the question was about Akil Watts. He did get a new contract extension, they picked up his option. So he had a 2024 +2. Now he's a 2025 +1. That +1's an option. He had 11 starts, 8 off the bench. He's kind of a second choice. I didn't mess with all of the depth charts or anything, so I can't really look at them right now. They're close, but Horn started to be that left back. Even Reed played a little bit above him, but Watts played in the midfield a couple times. He's 24. I just see him as a rotation player. He's not the best, but he's not the worst. Just, I don't know if there's going to be many situations like without injuries where you're like, okay, he's a set starter. We usually have a lot of people like Just Heat and excuse me, and like Andy Black, who are St. Louis guys. Maybe they can, if any one of them are around, they can let you know as well. But Gabe, thanks for coming in. I don't recognize your name, so I appreciate you joining the stream. And again, this is my pinned tweet. It's free. So if you're interested in that and following along through the summer and through the off season, for sure. Then we got Seattle. So Seattle is a team that I don't think anyone wants to play. Great form, starting to get healthy when it matters. Outside of, Vargas gets the red card, that really hurts them because I don't think João Paulo is like 90 minutes fit, but he should be able to go to like 45 to 60. Yeah, so I think João Paulo could start. Atencio not being out of concussion protocol yet is pretty big because this would have been a spot. Or they have like Danny Leyva. Maybe he starts. It's just tough for that other central mid spot. But other than that, you like what you see for sure. Sorry, Gabe. Yeah, no utility for a few months is always a bummer. Yeah. Feels weird, like a 6-game slate that 2 of the matches are on the midweek from the first round. It just kind of like, I know it's the scheduling, but it just kind of feels weird not having like Columbus. So like I have like Drake Calendar, which you don't feel great about as your keeper. Next up, we got Orlando City against Charlotte. I think this is one of the bigger toss-ups. Both teams are in pretty good form. Orlando City have been in tremendous form down the stretch, outside of maybe the finale. Charlotte, helped everybody out, even helped Philly out, but Philly couldn't take care of business themselves on that decision day, which is great. And then the true toss-up is, okay, Cincinnati was able to get a win over Philly. Maybe that sparks the team to play a little bit better. It's kind of weird. Like, Lucho Acosta's scores have just, they've been terrible for his standards. You wonder, like, what's going on there. It seems like, they have the ability. It's just what type of team are they going to be? With them at home, they've struggled at TQL Stadium, which was a fortress last year. So, interesting. New York City, no slouch. You see that Cushing has rumors to be a women's coach. Good riddance. Get him out of MLS. Still, I still hate Nick Cushing. So I will take that. I think he's done a good job this year, but I'll take that to my grave. I just don't like Cushing whatsoever. But yeah, that's the slate. The other match is the LAFC taking on Vancouver. Vancouver off that 5-0 win. Crazy. Yeah, so as far as who are we playing? Yeah, that's going to be if Charlotte knocks out Orlando, yeah, that would be that would be, it's like your sister city at that point, right? That's great. The old Trippin' Bees. Johnny Fortune, yeah, he's been really good. Finally got in that starting lineup, and man, he's just holding a stranglehold. Kind of surprised he took over from Muyumbo, but like the skill is there, so you love to see that. And Emeka Anelli, another guy who's kind of transformed this year, so that's nice. And then Brian Gutierrez, yeah, with maybe good coaching, he takes a step forward. He didn't take a step forward this year, which was kind of a bummer, but the talent is definitely there with Brian Gutierrez. So with Berhalter in there, as much as I don't like Berhalter for an MLS level coach, he's probably pretty good. So I would like to see a couple more pieces brought in along there. It seems like they're making some cap room, which is good to see. So maybe Hugo Kuipers takes a step 2 or a year 2 step up. Yeah, he's won the starting job. Yeah, for sure. Weiss Hong's had only 6%. He's dealing with a knock that I couldn't find it anywhere until, he wasn't on the injury report or anything. That's why he was out of the squad. How'd that work? Out of the squad, and then he subbed on for 24 minutes. I do have him as the starter, but just in case he's not at full fitness, full transparency, I have like zero information from LAFC coming in. So this is a lot of me just Twitter searches, which might not bring back much. He should start, but yeah, I probably could have went 70%, but you just don't want to get burned because that knock is still holding him back. But should have had a week from this, and should be good. But again, we'll see. Bruzel, welcome in. Lineups, projected lineups are done. That's a big win for me. We'll see how the lineups go. I have a couple good ones. I'm kind of in a interesting position because I have a little bit of money, and then I have those market credits. I have like $60 in market credits, and it's like I haven't won any market cards in like 2 weeks, I think. And like that timer is kind of ticking down. You obviously want to use them in time. So it's like, do I make a buy tonight to strengthen a team or something like that? Been kind of kicking that around. So we'll see how the lineups go. Hopefully well. How about for you? How are you, Bruzel? One or the other. Man. Can't imagine your schedule. This week it was actually pretty nice. Only, let's see, 12 teams? Yeah, 12 teams. Honestly, and then the midweek was only 4. I haven't had this much fun in ages. But, I have a lot of other things going on as well. Just that, like my RotoWire articles, things like that. Who scored previews. Just bought an in-season Yamar. He's the GOAT. He's so good. You're due for a header goal again, back-to-back games. It's coming. Instead of Nuhu, yeah. With prices, that makes a lot of sense because you're going to use them next year. I know the in-season utility might run out, but you might get a couple games left out of them. I mean, if you think about it, okay, if you get 5 games, that's a great situation, right? This best of 3, if it goes to 3, you'd rather it go 2-0 sweep, right? But if it goes to 3, you get 3 there. Maybe you get a couple more rounds. Big maybe, but I like Seattle's chances. Don't hate that at all. Plus, you're going to use them for next year. So, yeah, I like that. I'm doing a season review that is pretty much taking my preseason previews on RotoWire and breaking down what went wrong, what went right. And I've just been trying to knock out the teams already out so that I can release it as soon as like MLS Cup. Like as soon as MLS Cup's over, publish it that next day. So that it's kind of ready to roll. But it's pretty encompassing. And I haven't looked at it since I wrote it at the beginning of the season. This was like before the transfer window was over. And it's like some of the predictions were horrendous. Some of them were pretty good. But like I did call Nashville not to make the playoffs, which isn't that crazy. But, that felt good. I also had some horrendous takes. But, injuries and stuff does change some things. Yeah, let's see. I want to, while we're at it, take a look at the pick scores, even though that, they are what they are. But I do want to take a look at challengers and then just kind of talk about a couple of guys at the top. Because some of these matchups, actually, no. What I want to do is I wanted to talk about the matchups. So it doesn't really make sense not to do this. But let's just go to Challenger because that's what I was going to talk about anyway. And it's not good. let's just be completely honest. Yes, there was Europe in the midweek, so maybe we see some rotation. Like PSV, probably going to see some rotation. So maybe like full stacks. They don't go 5 for 5. That'd be great for us. But 93%, you don't feel good about. Benfica, Fenner. Even Twentes over 80%. Porto, 77%. Braga, 76%. Ajax, 75%. I mean, Inter Miami's in a tremendous matchup, and you see how far down the list they are. That's crazy. But with their MLS boys, there should be goals to be scored. So that's good. But at the same time, it's going to be nuts. It's going to be so, like, I'm just thinking MLS. So if I would make an MLS lineup, I would play Ricky Puig at mid. I would play Messi at forward. And then in the extra, I would play Gabriel Peck. Okay. Let's say you in theory, you have those 3 guys and then insert your goalies and your Biscaglis, whoever you want. I mean, those 3 guys in their matchups fully have a chance at 100s. You know what I mean? Like they could easily, you could be with your captain bonus, sitting at a crazy score. And as Hatlingen says, yeah, I could definitely in limited be 550 to win. And like, that's not crazy to think about. That's just MLS. Like those 3 guys are just MLS and they're in just absolute smash spots. So you insert in some of these other guys from crazy good teams in crazy good matchups. Like Sporting has been so good, clean sheets. I've just been riding Inacio and To glory. He had two goal line clearances, I think, or last man tackle, 1-1. I can't remember how it was, but yeah, he's been great. But then you got, AZ's up there too. Sunderland for your championship boys, Lewis. Here we go. Morris, Biscagli, Alba, Puig, and Messi. Yeah, like that's such a good lineup this week. So good. Like if you don't have some of those pieces, I think you're just behind the 8 ball significantly. So I'm honestly, I don't even think I'm playing Challenger. I might just play like the lower levels of it just because I can't compete. I can't compete with that. I have like Hector Herrera. Yeah. Even as you get further, like the above 50%, still good teams. We do have Club Brugge against Anderlecht. That'll be a good one on the weekend. Yeah, you're spot on with this too. It was a bloodbath out there. It was like every home team just swept the floor last year outside of St. Louis. Sporting Kansas City took care of them. That was kind of crazy. But yeah. Who replaced Vargas? We talked about it a little bit. So the big kind of factor in here is, I guess multiple things, but João Paulo isn't 90 minutes fit, but he's probably 60 minutes, 45 to 60 minutes fit. So I see him starting. I believe I went 45% on him. Danny Leyva, he has a chance too if they want to go with him if João Paulo isn't good enough to start, and then maybe João Paulo comes off the bench. And then Josh Atencio, they would really hope that he would be okay, but he's in concussion protocol. He has been training like a little bit, but he's still in that protocol. If he was healthy, it should have been him, in my opinion, just if he was healthy, but he's not. So lean João Paulo. I would stay away from that position if you can, just because I don't see any of them playing enough minutes that it kind of makes sense. Like João Paulo could score like 45 to 50, but if he's taken off at halftime, just the upside's capped. You have some Seattle and LAFC collections with some Cincy players. Who would you play out of those? I mean, all in good matchups too. So like they're all in good matchups as far as being home. Being home. Like LAFC's matchups, good. Seattle, Houston's a little scary, but they don't travel that well. They were good on the road, but like they didn't score a ton. So like a defensive stack from Seattle. I really like the idea of the upside if they can keep a clean sheet. Maybe you throw like Steph Fry and Yamar together as a defensive stack, but then Seattle's been smashing. Like Rusnak's in a good spot. I think Bouanga, if you have him, has to be in your lineup. Like he's a guy that would be you put him in at forward if you don't have Messi and you feel great about it. Yeah, I mean Bogusz, he's in a good spot. Tillman's in a good spot. Lewis O'Brien's been starting and playing well. Like all these guys could get there, but as far as Cincy, like I would probably go. Yeah. I mean, you would think Lucho Acosta would be pretty solid, but with his current form, you never know. I would feel pretty good about playing him still. There's just so many options that you have within those groups. I don't think you can go wrong with playing them, and even like playing Lloris, like they could have a clean sheet. Why not? Would you go Paulo? I would not go João Paulo. I wouldn't. Like for me, I just wouldn't play him. It's just you're kind of hoping for best case scenario 60. That's just kind of I could be wrong on that. So I'd probably go Nuhu personally, just because he should be 80 plus minutes. And I'll take the time over the, João Paulo in a vacuum. If he could go 90, I would take him, but I don't think that's the case. Yamar over Rusnak. Yeah, I mean, last time they played, he had 50 AA. I mean, that's not the worst thing in the world. Definitely not. But I just feel if I had, I have Yamar. If I had Rusnak, I would probably captain Rusnak just because he's on sets and set pieces. Then again, it could be Yamar on that set, but you get all those chances at a decisive, just better chances at a decisive. So I would probably go with the outcome that Rusnak gets that decisive and has like 30 AA or like 25 AA, So as far as like captain, I'd probably go with that because like Yamar could score 60 for sure. Yeah, it's not a high floor week. It's definitely a 100 week. Yeah, Harriel's been really good. I was only playing him in under 23. Because I was playing Kai mainly, but yeah, he finished out really well. Like my Philadelphia one, I had him as the breakout. Yeah, he scored well down the stretch. Definitely won some rewards. Just I think it was this 87 that Atlanta match. I think he single-handedly kind of got me into the rewards with that showing. But yeah. But I had him as my breakout. Like Carranza was still there, so Ty would there's no way I would see him. But I'd say Quinn Sullivan was probably the breakout for Philadelphia. But Harriel had a good year as well. Just not enough. Let's go to some big leagues. Although Challenger is what we're all about. There's some interesting storylines with the big leagues. If I could change it. Now I clicked 100 times and it'll probably never work. There we go. All right, so Lewis is in here, so you can probably back up. City's in a great spot, and I feel like with how City lined up, you can probably tell who's going to start, which is not good for if you're playing Prem. Especially this is one of those cases where it makes it really difficult because I have Brighton players, I have Matoma. I feel great about it. I have Brentford players. I picked up Buenmo, however you say it. Picked him up, so I feel that I got a James Madison. I picked him up. He played 70 minutes midweek. But I have all these really good pieces. I have Flecken as a goalie, But you're going to have to play against the City stacks. And I'm playing in D2, and I just can't get up to D1 no matter what I do. Even if I'm getting boxes left and right, but I can't get that promotion up to D1. It's been brutal. But it's one of those game weeks where City just runs away with it. Good chance at it. Vardiol has been unbelievable. That's one guy that I let get away. I won him at the end of last season and sold his card, took the money. That's probably one I would like to have back as my common, or not my common, but my last season I could throw in there. He's been really good. But then you have Chelsea, Newcastle. Okay. We have Arsenal, Liverpool, knocks them out. There could be good scoring, but then you just kind of have, Everton, Fulham. Some of these matchups are just kind of they're okay, all okay. But yeah, City. If you have your City players, you feel great. La Liga, El Clasico. So it's very wide open. This is crazy. I don't think you'll see this other than the reverse fixture, where who knows what the rest of the schedule look like. Atletico play Real Betis. Sociedad is the biggest favorite at 56.5%. Everyone else is under 50%. I can't remember a time that I've seen that, honestly, in a major league. I don't think I can remember this happening. I'm sure it has, but I just can't remember a time where there was no one. That's crazy. David, what's happening? It's playoff time. Let's go. I hope you didn't miss Tuesday and Wednesday. Some wild action. Yeah, Betis has to let it go. Yeah. This is a crazy game week. So, boy, the overlay number one in La Liga is great. And then you have this kind of complete parity. this game week. Boy, it could be a very, very fun. You have some injuries kind of going around as well. So if you have a lot of Liga teams, you got to feel pretty good, depending on the matchup. But everyone's kind of in this, hodgepodge. I just can't believe it. That's crazy. Then we'll go to Bundesliga, which is not like this. We got Bayern up top, 86%. Stuttgart, 80%. I have the Stuttgart boys. I hope there isn't too much rotation, which I'm worried about. Some of the main guys shouldn't have any issues. Then you have Leverkusen, also 66%. So Leipzig, Freiburg, Leipzig at home, close to 60%. And then Dortmund, 52% against Augsburg on the road. Below that, Gladbach against Mainz, Heidenheim, Hoffenheim, fun. And then from there, pretty straightforward. So again, we had Europe. So will some of these teams kind of make some rotations from that lineup? That'll be interesting. It's interesting to see how like Stuttgart kind of rotates throughout. They've given people rest, and I've just been watching it because I bought a stack. So yeah. What best option on goalkeeper for the Europe comp? Let's see. So is it all of Europe? Like top 5 leagues? Like champ? I just want to verify. Because if you're trying to just, go for a clean sheet, we'll sort by clean sheet and then just kind of go for there. City has the best chance at a clean sheet. Will they keep it? I mean, Southampton just doesn't scare you at all. So yeah. Napoli, 55% chance. Ren, was that Mandana, the old man? Getafe against Valencia, 48%. So, I mean, you could, especially in La Liga where there's less goals, I think, like, if you wanted to have a differential type of play, a lot of people just put, City keeper, Bayern keeper, some of these top teams. You play Getafe. I don't even know who the keeper is. I'm sorry. La Liga knowledge is close to nothing. But in this situation, David Soria. See how he scores. I mean, he'll have his clean sheets. This could be a clean sheet for him. I mean, you see he only scores around that 60 area. So maybe you want someone with more upside. But, he had an 80 there. It's just, will he see a ton of action? Probably not. So that's kind of what I would go through. I would say, okay, Sociedad, 46%. Mandana, I mean, how has he been playing this year? Why not? Against Le Havre, he's been terrible. But those peaks, and you're looking at probably a peak for this match. Let's check out just his home. And yeah, I mean, a lot of these peaks. Let's see, the 3-0. I mean, if he gets a 73.6, you're ecstatic about that. 79. He doesn't have a ton of AA unless it's a bigger matchup. He's not great, but I don't see why not. Or you could go for one of the big guys, but I would probably play it as like, okay, I want to have some differential plays. I mean, like, I guess you could go Bundesliga, and then there's just more goals scored there, which is tough. Vallecano, that could be interesting against Alves, 44%. So I'd kind of just, try and find off the grid type player for goalkeeper. But I'd say like best option. I mean, you probably just go with the highest clean sheet odds. But again, you can never really trust City as much on their back line. Just kind of, they just concede every once in a while. But against Southampton, you might be just looking at a 60. Just no action. But that's kind of my thinking there. Could be wrong. Could be right. That's that. Yeah. So let's take a look at contender. I don't do a ton of contender, but I do have a few contender boys. CSKA Moscow up top. We still got my clean sheet. Let's go by win. The Shanghai boys, both teams. So there's few guys that have cards. Rangers up there, 81%. Celtic up there, big shock there. LDU Quito, 78%. Zagreb, 74%. There's Siska. Rijeka, yeah, so a lot of usual teams. Boca Juniors in a good spot. Rapid Vienna in a good spot. Salzburg in a good spot. The better Barcelona. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of teams, a lot of 60+%. Same kind of usual suspects there. And let's open up to all of Champion just to kind of get a good look. Are there any teams that don't have their own comp? And again, we'll be looking at the French comp coming up here. The one that I was looking at personally is Lyon. They rested a little bit. I watched the match because I was kind of sweating Turkey, but they outplayed Besiktas the entire match, and they ended up losing 1-0. They just had so many chances, and they just didn't take advantage of it, and that's just kind of how it goes. But they rotate a few players, so, you know, guys like maybe Turkey rotate, but he only played 67 minutes, something like that, 70 minutes. So maybe we'll see him again. That's what I'm hoping. But good matchup there. Lazio against Genoa. Good matchup. Inter Milan against Juventus, 56%. So not a great matchup, but Atalanta and Napoli up top. It's always fun to kind of see some of the teams that I don't look at whatsoever. And it's like, okay, I forget they're on the platform because the league doesn't have its own kind of thing. So let's hope MLS gets their own comp next year. Yeah, it's just not going to happen. All right, so that's about all we need. This is server probabilities. I don't know if I said that yet, but if you're looking for anything data related, this is awesome. Like the forecast tool tells you the best fixtures moving forward, things like that. It kind of just helps cut down on the time. They have this player database. You can see everybody. You can sort. And then my favorite tab is probably the My Players, just because I can sort. Okay, under 23, they're highlighted if they're in season. If you want to go that route, then you can just see the percents are provided by different experts, like I do the MLS ones. They're pulled straight from Sorare Inside for a lot of these guys. So you can kind of just see the percents, and then you can double check. If someone's at 60%, go over to one of the prediction sites. I guess go over to Sorare Data if you want to do that as well. But yeah, it kind of just gives you a better, the projected scores are getting better with time, just because you want to have at least, at least 6 fixtures. 3 is like the bare minimum for home. That's why they're still a little bit wonky, but it's nice to see kind of starting. Okay. If you're back to the Play Sharper days, they had the projected scores. That was always nice to see. And the big column that I really like is some of these like 70%. So over the last 5, how many times have they gone over 70? And then you can kind of go further out whenever you look at other pieces. So that kind of helps me out personally. So like Atubolo is on a heater, 70 plus in 3 of 5, which is great. All right. Next thing I usually like to do is go to under 23, just see what we got under 23 wise. With it being a weekend, you don't really have to look through the goalies too much, but just kind of give a who's at the top. Trubin, some of these guys. Bart against Wolves. Obviously, Brighton's in a great spot. Yeah, but Wolves always get one. I said that the last time they got one. Chevalier has been really good. He's been a baller. But just kind of see some of these matchups. Like, is there somebody that's probably going to get a clean sheet? Do I want to prioritize this? What do I want to do with my gallery? Is kind of just kind of look at that. Look at the top at defense. It's usually the same guys. Josko, obviously, Wrench, Ajax, Enrique Lewis. There's nothing surprising here. Flamingo. DeBoss has been so good. You love to see it. And Inacio. I play them as a double stack. I usually don't like playing defenders, but like those two score so well together. Playing 2 center backs from the same teams, just kind of hilarious. It's very weird game theory, game strategy, but it works sometimes. Mid Cold Palmer, but how many people are actually playing him in under 23? Maybe an old season card, but probably not seeing it too much. Verts, he's a walking AAA. Esposito, he's popping off lately. Really expensive. Kvashvili, Zentner, Paderborn, nice. Malik Tillman, did he play midweek? Because I feel like PSV might have some rotation here. Yeah, he played 90. So just, if he was a bench, he was a sub against AZ, against Zwolle, maybe he's a sub. Not an Eredivisie expert, but something to think of for sure. Kochu, it's good to see he got it turned around. About some crazy good players, that's for sure. Yeah. But again, are these players going to La Liga? Or are they going into like a Jude? If you had a Jude, are you playing him in La Liga? Or are you playing him in Champ Europe? Or are you playing him in under 23? You'd have to lean like La Liga, maybe Champ. I don't have him, so I don't have that problem. There we go. Peck up at the top, as he should be. L5 of 88, L15 of 76. In my RotoWire article, I did a screenshot of his last 13 games. Absolutely absurd. What do we think? How long does he stay? Is he gone next summer? I think he's played himself well into that. He's so good. He's just came in the usual kind of process is it takes you a little bit of time before you just smash your face off. Not for him. No time needed. Yeah. Some interesting names. I'll share. Nico Jackson, Sheshko. Yeah. So I like to just kind of familiarize our people in God spots, and you kind of don't want to play under 23 or what you kind of want to do. All right. If you have any questions, let me know. We're kind of going dead in chat. So, I'll probably just wrap it up so I can get off and do my lineups at a reasonable hour here. But I just kind of want to show you the situation. So obviously I don't have Man City. And I was kind of playing around with these earlier. But I have a Matoma. Van Dijk's the only question mark, but he can score well no matter the matchup. Flecking against Ipswich. Will he keep a clean sheet? They rarely do. And then you have James Maddison in there. I'm kind of waiting on that. He played 70 minutes midweek. He was the only starter to play. And last weekend, he only played 45 minutes. They brought him off at halftime. I was watching the match. He had an assist, but he wasn't playing that well. Just kind of my personal opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's kind of a question mark for me. I don't know if I'll change that. And again, I only built a few. Bundesliga, I'm really liking. If I can get to it. Really liking this, but again, I don't have Bayern players. We got a Stuttgart stack plus a Miri. I didn't know what to do with this, and I'll probably rebuild this. Playing Stiller, I didn't really have a great option as far as a new season. I think Luling will be a guy that gets rotated. I don't plan on putting him in the lineup. What about Hugo against Union Berlin? Don't love that. I just feel like I'd rather have Stiller in this lineup. He just doesn't have the upside there when else has. So that's kind of a bummer. Then Champ, I think I just threw this together. It's just, that one doesn't matter because that lineup stinks. But any other questions? Again, we haven't really had anything happen in chat lately. So obviously my voice is kind of a damper. So hopefully, we'll probably have, what do we got? We'll have definite matches pretty much every midweek through the first round. Not sure how the schedule. We have an international break after the first round. Then they come back. Yeah, it's a crazy schedule. It's not ideal. But, yeah, I'm probably going to hop off. If you have any other questions, feel free to message me. If you message me the day of, a few hours before lock, there's probably it's probably doubtful that you get a response. It's just because I'm at work and I really can't look at my phone too much. But, yeah, if you have any questions, reach out. If you reach out within the next couple hours, whenever I wake up, I will definitely answer you, but close to the lock, probably not. So let's see. When will we see you back again? Hopefully it's a great weekend slate and then back on a Monday night. So thank you, everyone, for coming in. Again, listening to me. A little raspy here, that's for sure. I don't want to lose my voice for tomorrow. Happy Friday tomorrow. Get through your work week and get on to Sorare and just be disappointed with rewards right tomorrow. All right. Thank you guys. And we'll see you next time.